Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a little bit of studio work. It is a bit of a building site today. We're having all the screens fitted for the Trackman range, but today what I want to go through is something using Trackman range, using the facilities we've got down here at Waterfront, and something that I see a lot of people miss out over the winter, and that's knowing how far that your wedges go. Down here at Waterfront we can play different games on the Trackman and start to work on where we're landing the ball, how far it carries, and that's going to give us a score related to tour average. And it's going to be a lot today about obviously talking about tour average and what to expect. So a lot of people, when they come for lessons and they talk about, right, if I gave you a shot from 100 yards, how close would you expect to get the ball? And 9 times out of 10, 10 foot inside 15 foot. And to give you perspective there, obviously the best on tour last season, the best overall from the PGA Tour was McIlroy. McIlroy averaged from 100 yards 17.2 feet from the flag. So that's already outside of what a mid-handicap golfer, high-handicap golfer, a scratch golfer is already predicting for themselves to hit it. Yes, we're going to hit some inside of that, but on average it's going to be inside 20 feet. It's good for a tour pro. The tour average is 23 feet, so it's even further away. So if I said to somebody here, right, you're going to hit it to 23 feet from 100 yards, you'd be like, well, that's a rubbish shot, that's not very good, I need to practice harder. Yes, you do. Ideally you would be closer, but on average that's what a tour pro is playing. So I've set up the game now. I am filming it over there. I'm borrowing Richard Jones's phone, although it was an ordeal getting the phone off him. And I'll put this over the screen now. So I'm going to hit different shots here to different targets, and what it's going to do is give me different score ratings of how close I hit it. Obviously if I land it bang on the number, it's going to give me a tour average, a very high number, a high score. And you can come down here and do this to all the targets at Waterfront, so you don't just have to do it with your wedges. You can do it to all of them, back to the furthest one, which is around about 221 yards. So you can really start to see how close you're hitting it, and it'll give you a score related on how close that would be for tour average, and you'll see a leaderboard and you can compare yourself. So we're going to get into the first one now. So the first one I'm going to choose is the close one here, which I know is 36 yards. So 36 yards straight away for me is my 56. And then now we want to talk about is what kind of position that would be. So what kind of swing length would that be for me to hit it 36 yards? For me, for that distance, we'd be looking at 56. The feel is parallel. Again, on the video it might go a little bit longer, but the feel for me there is to let the club fall, and that should give me 36 yards roughly. And from there I'm going to have a slightly open face just to get a little bit of loft and a little bit more landing angle. So I'm going to hit that one now, and it'll be up on screen so you'll be able to see how that does and how it scores in regards to the target distance. So on the mat now. So distance-wise looks pretty good. Oh, unfortunately direction wasn't perfect. Good, so that's going into the second circle. So distance-wise was good, but it takes into account again direction. So I was a little bit right of target there. I got 300 points. The max I could get from that is 500. So not too bad. Inside probably on tour average for this shot. And I'll just have a quick look. So I've just looked at that distance there. Your tour average is 9 feet. So your best on tour over the season was 7 foot from that distance. So landing it onto a green, again, we're going to be inside 10 feet. If I gave that to you as an amateur, answer it honestly yourself. What would you expect and how close would you expect to be to the flag? And that's really for you starting to test, well actually I'd expect it to be inside 5 feet, where realistically tour average is double. So you need to be more realistic on your targets, start to practice, well at least if I can get it close to that landing zone, I'm going to be much closer than I was before. And that's coming down here, learning what position goes what distance, and then from there you can have a better idea when we're on the golf course, especially when the greens are a little bit better and not as wet as they are at the moment. So I'm going to keep going over in that direction. The next flag is 66 yards. So for me, 66 yards, I could go a little bit longer. I could go to chest with my 56, but I'm going to make it easier for myself and I'm going to drop down to my 52. So 52 here, I know that this is just past parallel. That will give me that distance. So again, trying to minimize the motion here. A lot of people would go, ooh, maybe I could get my full 58 there, send it through the clouds. hit the flight to Malaga, come down there and hopefully go close. Most of the time we see it either, especially the weather conditions at the moment, we catch it heavy, it goes 50 yards in front of you instead of 60, more like 15 actually, or we catch it thin and we bullet it past 100 yards. So here I'm going to go 66, I'm going to go 52, a similar position to what I've just done. Again, really focus on this time, turn my body a little bit harder to get it starting on line. And that's a much better direction. Hopefully you heard that because it hit the sign. So let's have a look at what that scored. Perfect, 600 points, so the most points you can get. And you see here at Waterfront, as you get further distances, the points get more because they're going to be wider. It's a harder shot, you get more points for the further shot. The closer the shot, the easier, technically, it is. So let's now go for everybody's favourite, which is 100 yards. So again, like I discussed at the start, 100 yards is around about 17.5 feet, the best on tour. 23 feet would be tour average. So we've got a sign out here at 103, so I'm going to go for that one now. But again, I'm going to change club. Although I could get there easily with a 52, I could maybe even max out my 56. I know that I can play a shot to my chest with my 48 degree, and that should give me perfect that distance. Again, that will come in a lot more controlled angle, it'll be a lot more direct, and it will actually have more spin than if I hit a full 56. And this is where people start to get a little bit confused. They think, oh, there's more speed, more spin. Yes, but if the ball's sliding up the face, which it would on a 56, it's not going to grip the club as much, it's not going to grip the grooves, and it's not going to give us that backspin. So I'm going to grab that now for us. So I'll change to 48. Just check that the sign is the correct sign. So it's straight down the middle at that, so I'm going to go chest with my 48 degree. I'm going to see what I can score on this one. So again, focus on turning that chest so it starts on line. Club to chest. A tiny bit left, maybe a little bit long. Let's have a look. 50 points. Okay, so it was actually a little bit short. That only carried 94, so it was 10 yards short of where I wanted it to be. So straight away there, I found an area in which that I need to work on. So I'm going to hit another one to there now. I'm now on to the second section here. And you'll see as you play this game, you've got 3 rounds. You can try and beat your round each time. So I'm going to go again for the 100-yard one. Chest. Okay, so a little bit left that one to say the least. Let's have a look at distance. So 109 yards. Fortunately, it was left, so the distance was better there. I did turn that one over a little bit, so I've found now straight away an area where I would start to practice. So I'm going to hit another one to there now until I've grooved that in. So good thing down here at the range, and when you go and do this practice, if you find a number that you struggle with, hit multiple shots to it until you feel right. Actually, it might be a different position. Here, I'm going to change now. I feel like it's a little bit too awkward with a 48, so I'm going to go 54, and I'm going to, 52 even, I'm going to go a little bit longer, so just past chest, and see if I can get a better number. So that's a better strike, felt a little bit smoother. Okay, and 107. So a little bit long and a little bit left again. That did feel a lot more controlled, so you can see even for me, this is not a distance that I practice a lot. Very, very clear to see with the 50 points. I was good at the 2 shorter distances, the shots that I probably play a little bit more. And this is what you do in the winter. You might come down to the range, you might practice, you might chip quite a lot to the close ones, you miss the middle ones out, and then you go straight to driver. And you start to see that when we get back into the season, we've got an area where we struggle with. So guys, that is, I'm going to keep hitting these all afternoon since we can't do much else in this weather. But guys, you can come down here, you can set up hot waterfront or a range near you. It might have top tracer, might have a TrackMan range. You can get down here, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Just get to your range and just bushnell your targets, try and land it on there and see how close you are. Think about what positions you want to play. So for me, I like to see a club parallel, club to chest or hands to chest, and then hands to shoulder. 3 positions with my 3 wedges should give me multiple shots, where then when the season comes round, I've got a shot for every single scenario that I get into. If we've got to get over a bunker, I can open it up and go a little bit longer with a 56. If it's not got much in, I can go 52 and I can let it release a little bit more. But by practicing it here on the range, using something like Bullseye here at Waterfront, can really give you some good feedback. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. A little bit different, a little bit of what you might be having to do in the next week if you're in the UK, because the weather does look extremely bleak. But if you can get down to your range and you can do some productive practice, when the season comes round, we can be a lot more prepared and hit the ground running. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again later in the week.